This lovely country we've selected to travel through is big and full of great features, from its stunning mountains and lush woods to its vibrant towns. Here are some incredible characteristics that set it apart and heighten its awe. The world's longest coastline is in Canada. With a coastline of 243,000 kilometers and 52,455 islands, Canada has the longest coastline in the world. If you want to get a sense of how long this is, it is estimated that it would take someone 33 years to walk the whole length of Canada's coastline at a speed of around 20 kilometers each day. Canada is home to millions of lakes. Compared to the rest of the world, Canada has more lakes. Up to 2 million were estimated at the time, with 563 covering an area larger than 100 square kilometers. Lake Huron in Ontario, Great Bear Lake in the Northwestern Territories, and Lake Superior, which is also in Ontario, are some of its largest lakes. In Manitoba, there are also several sizable lakes. Here, Lake Winnipegosis, Lake Manitoba, and Lake Winnipeg can be found. Fifth largest lake in Canada and 11th largest lake overall is Lake Winnipeg. Here are the oldest known rocks in the globe. The Canadian Shield forms a U-shaped region that stretches from Greenland in the east to Lake Superior in the west, and from the western section of Canada to the Arctic Islands in the north. Some of the planet's oldest rocks can be discovered there. One of them is a rock that dates back 4.28 billion years and was uncovered by geologists in 2001. On the eastern shore of the Hudson Bay in northern Quebec, it was discovered in a region of exposed bedrock. The Dead Sea is a place that exists here. Middle Eastern Dead Sea water is renowned around the world for being so buoyant that you cannot sink in it. This is explained by the fact that it is denser than fresh water due to its high salt content. The distance you must travel to experience this occurrence is not very great. Little Manitou Lake is located in Saskatchewan, Canada. The 13.3 square kilometers lake, which is fed by underground springs, has mineral salt concentrations of 180,000 milligrams per liter, making it exceptionally buoyant. The geographic center of North America is Regina. At a latitude of 50 degrees 27 minutes north and a longitude of 104 degrees 37 minutes west, Regina, the provincial capital of Saskatchewan, is the closest to the center of the continent. There are more than 1 million people living in 6 Canadian cities. Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Ottawa are the names of these Canadian cities. Toronto is at the top of the list, followed by Montreal and Vancouver, according to Statistics Canada. With 3.9 persons per square kilometer, Canada continues to be one of the nations with the lowest population density. As of 2019, there are more than 37 million people living there. Provinces and territories, from largest to smallest. The largest province in the nation, with a total land size of 1.5 million square kilometers, is Quebec. Prince Edward Island, with its 5,660 square kilometer, is the smallest. The largest territory, making up 1/5 of all of Canada's land, is Nunavut, 2 million sq.km. Despite having so much area, it only has 38,000 residents due to its hard environment and isolation. Largest freshwater supply in the world. It is not at all surprising that Canada has attained this designation given its vast number of lakes and rivers. One of the biggest and deepest estuaries in the world, for instance, is the estuary and Gulf of St. Lawrence. Its water originates from the Great Lakes, sometimes known as the Laurentian Great Lakes, a group of connected freshwater lakes in North America's upper Mideast. Near Isle d'Orleans, it spreads into a sizable estuary, a waterway where the tide meets a river current, where it mixes with salt ocean water. Here, you'll discover the biggest island within an island. In the Arctic, Canada has a little-known island within an island that is around 4 acres in size. Its inaccessibility, being 75 miles inland from Victoria Island, the 8th biggest island in the world, between Nunavut and the Northwestern Territories, is part of the reason it is little forgotten. Summit of the highest mountain. The tallest mountain in Canada is Mount Logan in the Yukon. It is situated in Cloyne National Park and Reserve and rises to a height of 5,995 meters, 19,551 feet. William Edmund Logan, a Canadian geologist, is honored with the mountain's name. He was a founder member of the Canadian Geological Survey. Canada offers a vast array of climates due to its extensive latitudinal range. Climate is significantly influenced by ocean currents, particularly the warm waters of the Gulf Stream in the Atlantic and the Alaska Current in the Pacific. The predominant air currents in the Pacific, known as westerly winds, are what give coastal British Columbia its high precipitation and temperate winter and summer temperatures. The Great Lakes in the interior regulate the weather in southern Ontario and Quebec. Along the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador and in the east, the chilly Labrador Current and Gulf Stream collide, chilling the air and frequently producing fog. The country's northern two-thirds experience short, cool summers and extremely frigid winters, which are reminiscent to those in northern Scandinavia. A typical continental climate with extremely frigid winters, scorching summers, and little to no precipitation can be found in the central southern region of the interior plains. The weather in southern Ontario and Quebec is similar to some areas of the American Midwest, with hot, muggy summers and cold, snowy winters. All of Canada experiences a winter season with average temperatures below freezing and persistent snow cover, with the exception of the West Coast. Canada contains a number of expansive and different forest zones that merge into various transitional zones. The northern coniferous forest, often known as the boreal forest or taiga, is the second largest continuous forest in the world, after Russia. The number of tree species is constrained by the harsh winters and brief growing seasons. White and black spruce, as well as white birch, are common among them. Balsam, fir, and tamarack, larch, are also widely distributed. Although the boreal forest provides a significant amount of pulpwood and lumber, much of the northern region is too remote for commercial logging. Canada is home to a variety of ethnic and cultural groups. About half of the population was of British origin and nearly one-third was of French heritage in 1871, when the nation conducted its first census. Since then, fewer people have immigrated from the United Kingdom and France, and significantly more people have come from other countries in Europe, as well as Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. The proportion of Canadians with British and French ancestry has decreased to about 1/4 each. Immigrant groups typically keep their cultural identities since they have a tendency to settle in specific areas. For instance, a large portion of Ukrainian immigrants moved to the prairie provinces because the terrain and climate there were similar to those in their native country. A large portion of Dutch immigrants settled in southwest Ontario's flat, fertile farmland where they continued the tradition of growing fruits and vegetables they had learned in the Netherlands. Particularly in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, large cities have seen a substantial influx of Chinese, Portuguese, Greek, and Italian settlers. The official languages of Canada are English and French, according to the Constitution. The majority of the country, however, speaks English as its primary language. Just one province, New Brunswick, is officially bilingual, and only Quebec, where French is spoken by 4 out of every 5 people, has declared French to be its official provincial language. About 1/2 to 3/5 of Canadians say that English is their first language, while the remaining 1/5 say that French is. More than 1/5 of Canadians have a native language other than English or French as their first language. The majority of these people speak another European language as their first language, most commonly Italian or German, but the largest immigrant group speaks Chinese, reflecting the rise in Chinese immigration since the 1980s. The Inuit's native tongue, Inuktitut, contains a wide range of dialects. The most widespread indigenous language is Cree. Moreover, 3/4 of Canadians say they belong to an organized religion in some capacity. Roman Catholicism or Protestantism are the two main religions. The United Church of Canada, the Anglican Church of Canada, and the Lutheran Church are Canada's 3 largest Protestant denominations. More than 2/5 of the population are Roman Catholics, making them the largest religious group. 1/5 of the population, the second largest group, is Protestant. Moreover, half of the people in Quebec and the majority of the people in New Brunswick identify as Roman Catholics, at least nominally. The religious makeup of Canada follows the most recent patterns of immigration. In the final 2 decades of the 20th century, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, and Buddhists increased significantly in number. Jews and followers of the Eastern Orthodox faith are both on the rise. Approximately 1/5 of Canadians identify as atheists. That was for today. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.